What is up, YouTube? I'm Gallight74 here, bringing you our Week 3 battle of the Ocean League. This week we are taking on Young Jiggy, or Jay, our division rival, coach of the Philadelphia Flygons. Big Flyers fan, by the way, so I really like the logo. He is currently 2-0, while we are also 2-0, but the difference is that he is plus 12, so he is a very good battler, if you can tell. I apologize if I'm kind of quiet. It is 2:42 a.m. as I am recording this in the morning, so everyone in my house is asleep, so, I might have to bump this audio up a little bit. But anyway, before we get into the battle, I want to apologize in advance for this battle because my focus, I had the IBA semifinals match while I had another playoff match I was in that I don't upload to YouTube. So my focus was not really on this game too much. Plus, since I face him a second time, I didn't really want to reveal my full strategy. So the effort in this battle was not at 100%. It was really not all there. So I want to apologize to my opponent in advance. I will give him the benefit of the doubt that our next battle will be much better because my effort will be fully on there, my focus will be all there, so there's that. But that is enough for that. We're going to go into the team builder. I am going to go over my team because I kind of just threw together a team that would hopefully work well. So there's that. First, we're going to go over his absolutely insanely busted team. This team is just insane. So his team consists of Mega Mawile, S tier Darkrai, tier 1 Mew with Z moves, not medium Z, but I think anything else. Komodo, Amoonguss, Galvantula, Alomomola, Gligar, Dusknoir, Stoutland, and Magmar. Now, this team's insane because he can choose whether to be just full offensive with like Komodo, Darkrai, Galvantula with Sticky Web support, or he could go a little bit more of a bulkier route with Mawile, Amoonguss, Alomomola, and Gligar, and even Dusknoir. And he's got very good speed control because he could run like Trick Room and he can run Sticky Webs, so you don't know what to prep for around with that. So I think this team is absolutely insane. So prepping for it wasn't easy. I did put some effort into prepping, just it wasn't all there, so apologies for that. So I'm just going to skim over my team and I'll get into their sets a little bit. So I'm bringing Mega Charizard Y, Florges, Zeraora, Slowbro, Superior, and Donphan. So let's get into these sets. So first off here we got our Mega Charizard Y with Flamethrower, Solar Beam, Dragon Pulse, and Substitute. This thing can just absolutely spam moves against his team as it hits everything very, very, very hard. Flamethrower mostly everything. For Alomomola, we got the Solar Beam, and then Komodo's got Dragon Pulse, because Komodo can take both Flamethrower and Solar Beam pretty easily. I could see him trying to maneuver around this or use his Regen Core to stall out Sun in order to work around this, but outside of that, nothing really wants to take hits from Mega Charizard Y. And I have Substitute, because Substitute's always good to catch people off on switches, so they can't pivot around like that so much. Next off, we got Florges with Moonblast, Hidden Power, Ground, Synthesis, and Aromatherapy. A little bit of speed with some special defense with a Kebia Berry. This was originally in like an offensive set, but I decided to change it because, yeah, didn't really do as much work as I wanted it to. But Kebia Berry is for Poison Jab on Komodo if he thinks I can pick me off if I'm low enough health. And this thing can kind of take on Magmar and a few other small things as well because Hidden Power Ground exists. I can take special moves pretty well from those mods. I can kind of do good against Alomomola, but if Alomomola's got Toxic, if it's got Toxic, it don't matter because I have Aromatherapy, so actually that doesn't really matter. So that was the Florges. It was mainly for the Komodo, I believe. Oh, and the Darkrai too. This can take hits from the Darkrai, and again, the Sludge Bomb was for the Darkrai as well. So there's that. Our next Pokemon is Zeraora with the Fire MZ, Rockin' Plasma Fists, Fire Punch, Knockoff, and Volt Switch. His only Full Twitch immunity is Gligar, and unlike his Regen Core, with Gligar I can kind of take advantage of compared to those two, so if he comes in with Gligar, I can either knock off its Eviolite or switch into something to take advantage of that. But electric moves are kind of spammable against his team, and the Fire MZ is to blow back that Amoonguss into the next dimension, and same with the Mawile because Fire Punch does not OHKO Mawile, and Mawile just kind of destroys their aura back, so that's why I wanted to make sure I can OHKO it with that move. So that is the Zeraora set. Next up we got a Slowbro with Assault Vest, with Psyshock, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball. Max defense. I originally had, not originally, but like I had the idea of just having a special defensive Slowbro with leftovers, with that like Toxic and stuff, but I changed it up because I didn't really see myself using it. But this thing basically walls Amoonguss. It's gotta be, Giga Drain does a lot, and Seed Bomb definitely does some damage, so I gotta be careful about that, but he does not want to take a Psyshock any time of the week. This thing walls a physical Komodo pretty well. I have to scout out for a special one though, so be careful about that as well. Luckily I have the Regenerator, so it is a pretty good pivot. Surprisingly, this deals well with the Dusknoir as well, even though Shadow Punch does a lot of damage. I'm very especially bulky, and Shadow Ball does a lot of damage to it. And the good thing is that Dusk Noir does not get reliable recovery, so I can just whittle that thing down slowly. And then the Gligar, because it's a Gligar. I believe that's it. It can tank moves from hits from you. I can't really hit it back too hard if it's especially if it's specially defensive, but that's Slowbro. Next Pokemon we got is Superior with Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, Hidden Power, Fire, and Sub with mixed speed, special attack, and a little bit of HP there. This is a more offensive Superior we got this week. I brought this for to take advantage of the Gligar, that's what it was, and the Alomomola as well, because I could switch it in Alomomola. I gotta be careful of Toxic, but outside of that, I can set up a sub. Do I have sub on this set? Yeah, Substitute. And then when he switches to the Moongus, I can Leaf Storm up and maybe hit it hard with HP Fire. I don't know. If it's an Assault Vest, a Moongus, then it's just pointless. But if it's not, then I can actually do some decent damage to it. And chip on Komodo, who also resists these moves. Oh, actually, no, Dragon Pulse. That's right. I have Dragon Pulse on this thing. My bad. So that's what that's there for. So Superior can kind of set up and win against his team if he brings the certain mons that doesn't do well against Superior. And then lastly, we got Donphan making its season debut. I have used Donphan in the past, so I do quite enjoy using this thing. It is max defense with Earthquake, Rapid Spin, Ice Shard, and Knockoff. I only really needed Earthquake and Rapid Spin to get rid of those rocks for Charizard, while Earthquake is pretty good against his team. Ice Shard was an option because I wanted to have priority on my team just in case like something got out of hand, like I don't know, like a very low Mawile or Komodo sets up or something, anything that sets up basically, or Galvantula at 1 HP. That's it. So that's what the Ice Shard was there for. Knockoff for Eviolite users because he's got the Gligar, the Magmar, and Dusknoir doesn't really want to take a knockoff either. And the Mega Mawile because this uncomfortably but comfortably takes hits from Mega Mawile. It can take 2 Iron Heads and I think 2 Play Roughs. I think that was the calc. I'm not sure. It was kind of close. But Earthquake does a lot of damage to it. So that is the Donphan set. First time we're bringing it this year, so I hope it seasons, so I hope it does well. And that is the team. I tried to go through it a little fast, but not too fast. More detailed than the Merv one, I can tell you that. So definitely going to bring a different team probably for our next battle. I may bring some sets, but overall it's going to be a pretty overall different concept. But that is the team builder. I hope you guys enjoyed that portion of the video, and we're going to go into the battle. So here we are in the battle, and the first thing I'm noticing is that he definitely brought Trick Room on the Dusk Noir. It's pretty obvious that he didn't bring the Darkrai, so he's going to go that route with it. By the way, Florges is also making her appearance, so I mentioned it when Donphan did, but Florges does it well, so note that. I lead off Zeraora because there's no Gligar, and Electric Spam is kind of free, so I can Volt Switch out on whatever I can Volt Switch out on. Turns out to be the Komodo, and go into Florges because Florges only is here for Komodo at this point. He sets up the sub, and then he goes for Belly Drum, and it turns out he's Belly Drum Slackberry, so I'm just like, oh crap, I'm just going to get 6-0'd by this thing. I had the Kevia Berry for a Poison Jab, but it's not going to matter because it's +6. Then I remembered that Donphan has Ice Shard on it, and I realized that if I didn't lead Zeraora, and I led anything else, and that 10% damage was really crucial because Ice Shard would not have killed Komodo if it was at 25% rather than 15%. So that Volt Switch actually saved me from being swept. So props to that, but I do lose Florges. Luckily, Komodo is low enough for it not really to matter too much, so that's good. I'm talking about that for a while. He goes into a Alomomola, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now we're on turn 6. This battle's going a little fast. I Volt Switch out. I go into Charizard. I apologize for some reason. Mega Charizard Y's wings are very laggy on my screen for some reason, so I guess we're going to have to do that. Here I go for sub, predicting the Trick Room, as he does have the Trick Room and goes for it. This just ensures that I can get a free hit off now. Not that I wouldn't in the first place, but I take 25% here rather than how much Thunder Punch would do. Flamethrower does a lot. Unfortunately, he does have the Iapapa, so he can actually live another one. So I'm not really planning on taking 2 Thunder Punches, even if I can. I switch into Zeraora and predict that, and luckily he does go for it. So not that it really matters, it's just a nice pivot. Here, I predict him not to go for Thunder Punch, obviously, so I want to go into Slowbro, because Slowbro is my way of answering that. I just don't want to switch into it. But he does go into Alomomola, and now this turn I make the biggest bot play in the entire world and go into Superior, hoping he wouldn't go for Toxic, and why wouldn't you not go for a Toxic on a Slowbro? That's just so stupid. So leaving my Superior Toxic is such a bad thing, because now I can't really go through his team. He still has this thing anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered too much. Oh, and I missed a Leaf Storm, so that's cool too. Here I'm just banking on the fact that he over predicts and goes for the Giga Drain or something like that. Hidden Power Fire is doing nothing. and he just goes for Sludge Bomb, and I just kind of waste my Superior at this point. I'm really upset about how the way I played the Superior this game, because now I'm just so low. There's no point in saving this thing. Amoonguss just comes in every time. I leave Storm for the off chance he chokes, but you know he doesn't, and he's just gonna go for Sludge Bomb and knock out my Superior. So things aren't really looking too hot for me already. It's only turn 14. As Amoonguss is at full health, everyone's at full health outside of Komodo and Dust Noir with a little bit of chip on it. But anyway, I bring in Mega Charizard Y, and he turns out he actually sacks off his Komodo. So first death for his Pokemon of the season comes from me. So that's an accomplishment in itself. He didn't get 6-0'd. But anyway, he's gonna send in his Dusk Noir. He knows he can take a hit from it. He does the ability Frisk, which, by the way, earlier I didn't mention it, was that he's frisked out my Zeraora's Fire MZ, so now he knows. Frisk is such a good ability. Here I make another bad play, and I go for Flamethrower, and I let him hit me with a Thunder Punch, which is really bad because I thought he was going to go for Trick Room. I finished him off with Solar Beam for the off chance he switched into a Momola, but this is bad because now Mega Mawile does like 50 to 55% with Sucker Punch or something like that. If I didn't take that Thunder Punch damage, I would have been able to live this hit. And the reason I stayed in was because if he had Substitute or Swords Dance, any of the two, I basically lost the game because Donphan just gets wrecked and Earthquake doesn't one-shot it. So that's why I stayed in, and now things aren't really looking too hot because I did that. Charizard is gone. My main Wall Breaker is just gone. He still has his Regen Core at really, really high health too. I don't have Toxic on any of my 3 remaining Mons left, so this is looking really bad. He goes for Skull as I switch into Zeraora. There is a way I can still win this because certain matchups work out. Like Zeraora can beat this Alomomola unless he's got Toxic Protect, which he does have, of course. So I go for Knockoff because I like to go for Knockoff first turn to knock off any Leftovers or Black Sludge or whatever. And he's not going to switch into Mega Mawile. But he does switch into Mew actually, which kind of caught me off guard. I did go for the Volt Switch because Toxic damage was racking up. This was the only Pokemon I didn't know how to take care of because... Well, and the Regen Core, of course. Because Zeraora still has that Fire MZ intact. If I can catch that Amoonguss on a bad turn, then Amoonguss goes down, and then there's hope for me in this game. Because Slurbo can still kind of wall his team since the Dusk Noir and Komodo are gone now. Not that Slurbo couldn't handle those two, but you get the gist. Here, Mew knocks off my Assault Vest, which kind of sucks. I'm going for Shadow Ball. I do get a special defense drop on the turn before, so that's always cool. He probably has Roost or Soft Boiled, so he's not going to... He can either heal up or he can just switch out into his Regen Core, as his Regen Core kind of just beats my team at this point. I get a nice little cheeky crit, not that it really matters, on this Amoonguss, and I'm just going to stay in and go for Side Shock. That does a lot of damage. He goes for Giga Drain, it does a lot of damage to me, now that I don't have the Assault Vest, and he gains a lot back. I could knock him out with Side Shock again this turn, but he is going to actually switch out into the Mega Mawile, as I just go for the Side Shock again. I could have went for the Flamethrower there, but, you know, you can't really predict that at this point in the matchup. Here I go into Donphan because Donphan can tank 2 hits from Mawile, and he goes for Swords Dance, and this is basically the game. However, you'll see here in a second, he actually decides to switch out and go to Alomomola to take this Earthquake. He's deciding to go to the Regen route in the end because he can just regen all his health back, because the only thing that can get through this Regen Core at this point is Zeraora, and Zeraora's Toxic Poisoned, and it can get whittled down by Protect, and Mew could just be sacked if he needs to do that, and Toxic will just take it out at some point. He goes for Skull on the Slowbro, but you get the gist. Mega Mawile, if he would have attacked my Donphan, he could have went for like 2 Play Roughs. My Earthquake plus Ice Shard doesn't kill it, and then it just sweeps through the rest of my team a Sucker Punch. So that's what it could have been, but instead we're going through this a little bit, which is fine. He didn't know that at the time because my Donphan has basically no attack investment. If I did, I almost put attack investment into that too. But here, I'm with Zeraora. I'm just talking at this point. I go for Plasma Fist, do a load of damage to this Alomomola as he goes for the Wish. He's just going to stall out the Zeraora at this point. I'm on my last legs. This is the last turn. So I'm going to fire off the Fire MZ to be a little cheeky here because damage is damage, I guess. And it does. Look how much damage this does. This is such insane damage. 3%. That is absolutely nuts. I can't believe how much damage that did. And Zeraora is dead, basically. So we're down to Donphan and Slowbro. I just thought that was funny. My Slowbro is burned, so I can't get Toxic stalled, but I can't really do much to this Alomomola at this point if he keeps pushing up. I go for Flamethrower just to try and get burned for whatever reason. Just Signs of Life, maybe. I don't know at this point. I'm just clicking moves, waiting for this battle to be over. I want to get this differential a little lower, but for the battle, it's just not happening. I go into Donphan, predicting him to go into Mega Mawile, but nope, he goes into Amoonguss. So I go for the knockoff, just knocking off whatever item this thing has, which is Black Sledge, of course, as he goes for the Giga Drain and does a lot of damage to this Donphan, and my Donphan is very low at health at this point. I do have the leftovers, but I don't think it's really going to matter. I'm going to just go for Earthquake and just basically get rid of this Donphan at this point, as Amoonguss is back up to 73%, while his Alomomola is at full health, and his Mew's at like 50%, Mega Mawile is at like 80%. So this is basically the game here. I go for Flamethrower, hoping he'd just switch into Mega Mawile or something like that. I don't know what I was doing at this point. He goes for Giga Drain. Again, does a lot because the Assault Vest was knocked off. Now here I decide to go for the Psyshock, I believe, and it just barely misses out on the kill. I wanted that kill so bad, but I didn't get it. And he goes for the Giga Drain, and that is the game. So GG to Young Jiggy or Jay. I apologize again, my commentary was kind of mediocre and my battling skills were mediocre for this battle. Everything was just kind of mediocre on my part, so big apologies for that. I still hope you guys enjoyed the battle as much as I did. I still had fun during the battle for the most part, so that was always fun. We do face again in the future near the end of the season. I do not remember what week it is, so there's that, and a lot more effort is going to be put into that battle as I am just distracted with the playoffs I'm in and college is coming up soon, so there's that. But GG to him. Make sure to... I do not have his links. I do have Matt Oshean's links in the description below, though. And if I do get links for Young Jiggy, I will put them in the description below. So make sure to go check them out. Next week, we take on the Amarillo Azumarils. He is in our same conference, but not the same division. So a lot of preps going into that. So thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. If you like Pokemon Draft content, please consider subscribing. That's the words I'm looking for. Have a fantastic day, YouTube. I'm out of here.